Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope y'all are doing well. If you like what you see in this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, or share the video. Today, we're taking a look at The Last of Us Part 1 for the PC, released on Steam on March 28, 2023. So, just to give you a context here, I am a fan of The Last of Us, at least the first game. I remember when I first saw the E3 trailer back in 2012. Yeah, back when E3 was still around. Yeah, I saw the trailer back in 2012 and I was completely blown away, right? I owned the big fat George Foreman PlayStation 3, the one that could play PS2 and PS1 games, the 80 gigabyte Motorstorm version. And I remember I beat the Last of Us. I believe I beat it twice on the PS3. The base game and the DLC Left Behind. Uh, I got it on the PS4. Did the same thing, beat the base game and the DLC Left Behind. I also got it on Steam day one when it came out, right, for the PC. Um, and I remember this game had major technical issues on the PC. Um, just to give you an overview here of what I mean by that. So I've tested this game on three separate configurations, three separate PC hardwares. The first, when the game first launched, I played it on my Intel Core i7 8700K, overclocked to 5 gigahertz, and my RTX 2080 Super machine with 32 gigabytes DDR4 memory. And I remember that game would stutter a lot, and the CPU usage was maximized at like 99, 100%, right? It was such a resource hog, absolute resource hog. And system memory, it was like over 20 gigs of system memory. I've never seen anything like that before, like it was just absolutely a resource hog. And then later on, I played it on a separate machine comprising of my Intel Core i9 9900K at 5 gigahertz, as well as the Radeon, right? The Radeon AMD Radeon RX 6950 XT. So I've owned AMD GPUs, but that GPU, I remember I played it. I played it on a an ultra wide 3440 by 1440 display, and yeah, I remember I would get like 60 FPS, over 60 FPS, and this game would use close to the 16 gigabyte VRAM, and my CPU usage was always high. System memory was high, so the game was just such a resource hog. And lastly, I tested it on the same CPU build. The only thing that was different was the GPU. So my current RTX 2080 Ti, um, but at a much lower resolution, the 2560 by 1440p resolution. So I know that was a long intro, but I just want to give you an overview, a context of where I'm coming from. So I'm trying to take a look at this game. The whole point of this video is just to benchmark this game um, in 2026, see what has changed, any improvements to the performance, VRAM usage, CPU usage, especially system memory usage. Like, just see how the game fares in 2026. As you can see, the recent reviews on Steam are overwhelmingly positive. That's good. You know, and overall review is very positive. I remember when the game launched, it was in such a dire condition. The reviews definitely reflected that. It wasn't good. It was a lot of negative reviews, negative comments. But yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the Steam recommended specs and see if you're able to meet that. So the game is asking for recommended specs: a Ryzen 5 3600X or an Intel Core i7 8700. So these are fairly decent CPUs. So if you have a 6-core 12-threaded CPU, you should do just fine. As far as the graphics card, is asking for a Radeon 5700 XT or a 6600 XT. And then on the Nvidia side, is asking for the RTX 2070 Super or the RTX 3060. Okay, so these GPUs are all kind of close. I will say one thing though, the 6600 XT, If I remember correctly, is slightly slower than the 2070 Super. I do believe this game runs better on AMD hardware GPUs than Nvidia, from my recollection. But for the most part, all four GPUs listed here in the recommended specs are all relatively close in performance. Storage space, it requires a 100 gigabyte SSD recommended. So yeah, as you can see, these are steep hardwares. I mean, remember this was 3 years ago, right? This is before the 4000, 5000 series of GPUs. So this would be fairly high end spec, considering that this is a remaster of a PlayStation 3 game. Um, yeah, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into the main game and see how it performs. And I'm in the main menu taking a look at The Last of Us Part 1 for the PC. It does have a shader precompilation step for both The Last of Us base game and the DLC Left Behind. Both games took roughly 18 minutes total for the shader compilation step to complete. So it does have a dedicated shader compilation screen so you can keep track of the percentage, the completion percentage. So your mileage may vary depending on the CPU, of course. If you have a stronger CPU than the 9900K, you could get much shorter compilation time. And conversely, if you have a slower CPU, definitely will be much longer. So in the options menu, let's take a look at it. I do like to play with toggle aim, mouse aim. So I believe I had that feature enabled when I first played the game. So I'll have to enable it again. Raw mouse input, it has support for that, which is perfect. Mouse smoothing, I have that set to off. Um, yeah, so you have some customization here for the DualShock controller, um, Xbox controller, and possibly PS5 controller. Anyway, it says haptics. Okay, so it does have support for the DualSense 5 PS5 controller adaptive triggers. I wonder if it also has the haptic feedback, the rumble feature. Possibly, but I will be playing this with a mouse and keyboard, even though it recommends using a controller. It's a shooter, so I simply cannot aim with a controller. I have to use a mouse and keyboard. Um, yeah, so let's just skip everything else and go into display. You can see my GPU VRAM usage is 11 gigs, and already the game is already saying usage with these settings. It's going to use 83%. So let me make some tweaks here. So it has borderless window, which is okay. So that those are my only two options: borderless window or windowed mode. So windowed mode incurs a 2% increase in VRAM usage compared to borderless window. Aspect ratio is my maximum resolution, and then let's see, ultra wide pillars. I'll set that to minimal. It does have a warning here. I guess this is for ultra wide resolution may reveal visual issues on far edges of the screen. Okay, so I am not using an ultra wide display. I'm using a 16:9, so I shouldn't worry about that. FPS is uncapped. Anti-aliasing mode. Let's see. I don't know why it's locked. Um, yeah, I'm not sure why that is locked. What am I missing? Okay, so last time I played, I did have DLSS set to quality. It does have a field of view mode. Camera shake, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn off motion blur. So I usually like these features. Like, I tend to. That's one of the main reasons I play most of my games on the PCs, because I like the eye candy, going far beyond what the consoles can do. But a lot of games don't implement these features well, like motion blur, film grain chromatic aberration, depth of field especially. The last game that I saw that had really good depth of field was The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings on the PC, and that was absolutely brutal during the cinematics. But yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to turn these features off, because I like my crispy, clean image. I don't like blurry image whatsoever. Film grain, turn that off. Lens dirt intensity. Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I've seen that effect. It's not bad in this game. Field of view goes up to 10. I don't know what that means. Is that 90 FOV? I wish they would have features like that. But anyway, I'll keep it the default at 0. If I need to make changes, I'll do so. So apply this, and then let's see. So as you can see, DLSS quality. This is why I don't like using all these fake pixel algorithm upscalers like DLSS. You can see my render resolution is freaking low. Like, I mean, 2560 by 1440, but it's the actual real resolution is this 1712 by 960, and it's upscaling to my resolution. So yeah. Anyway, I'll come back and make changes to that. Graphics settings. Everything is set to ultra. Um, Nothing else. So you have draw distance, dynamic objects level of detail, characters level of detail, environments level of detail, and then on the texture side, so that's the geometry side, what I just mentioned. On the texture side, what eats up your VRAM, dynamic objects texture quality, characters texture quality, environments texture quality, visuals effect texture quality, texture streaming rate, uh, texture filtering, so that is anisotropic filtering, and texture sampling quality. Everything is maxed out there, right? So I'm guessing the texture quality, what's going to eat up your VRAM the most are the streaming as well as the environmental textures, right? So yeah, but anyway, I have 11 gigabyte of VRAM, so turn that up. Lighting settings, you have ambient shadows quality, directional shadow resolution, directional shadow distance, image based lighting, dynamic lights quality, spots lights shadow resolution, points light shadow resolution, bounce lighting, screen space shadow quality, which nested under that is dynamic screen space shadows, contact shadows quality, screen space ambient occlusion, denoise quality, screen space directional occlusion, screen space cone tracing. I mean, these are fantastic. Goes way beyond the original PlayStation 3 version, and it has screenshots at on the side, which is fantastic. Absolutely, I love when developers include this. So when you make adjustment, you can see in real time what changes. As you can see, when I change the directional shadows, you can see in real time what it changes, which is absolutely fantastic. So moving on, reflection settings. You have screen space reflections, screen space reflection accuracy, screen space reflection distance, glossy reflection quality, real time reflection quality, real time cloud shadow reflections. So yeah, all that is set to max setting. And then shading settings, you have screen space subsurface scattering, so that's on the characters, their face, their cheeks, their eyes, I mean their ears, nose, and so on. Refraction quality, everything there is set to max. And then post effect settings, so you have things like depth of field, um, cinematic, and gameplay. I have that enabled. I guess I can just leave that for cinematic only, um, which is fine. Depth of field quality, motion blur quality. Let me turn this off. Right, motion blur. Let me turn this off. You can see how much cleaner the foreground, the background images are, like the trees and stuff. So let me turn it back on ultra. You can see how it distorts and blurs the background image geometry, right? So I've gotten to the point now where I start playing with motion blur off. Like it's so much cleaner, honestly. So bloom resolution set to on. Visual effects settings, you have effects density maxed out, volumetric effects quality, lens flare. I like lens flare, so turn that to maximum. And then miscellaneous settings, you have animation quality, ambient character density, and AI quality, right? So yeah, let's see how that plays. So let me apply whatever changes I made, and audio, nothing exciting there. I believe this does have okay, so it does have it's okay, so it's supporting my auto 5.1 surround sound. I do have a as you can see here, it's saying the Creative Sound Blaster X AE5 Plus, which is a pretty high-end sound card connected to my motherboard, and connected to that sound card is my 5.1 true analog surround sound headset, which gives you deep bass and rumble features. So whenever there's an explosion on screen, the headset vibrates, and you get pinpoint accuracy, directional audio, far superior to virtual audio. Like, it doesn't even come close. Like, too bad it's been discontinued. But anyway, yeah. So home theater 5.1, and let me set that to maximum, right? Dynamic range to maximum. So it does have support for spatial audio, if you want to use that. Traditional out. Okay, so spatial output for all audio. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but I'll just set it to auto. Auto defaults to that. So yeah, that's it for audio. And then nothing there too exciting. So accessibility, alternative controls. I think this is where I can toggle my aim. Customize controls, maybe. Okay, so that's perfect. um yeah, I just want to just take a moment and give a shout out, props to these developers. This menu is so clean and so intuitive. It's not like the Call of Duty menu where it takes you like 5 clicks just to get to where you need to. Everything is just so nested, and my gosh, people need to understand how to design menus in game, and they just most games I play nowadays, it's just such a chore to find what you're looking for. So yeah, sprint. I like to hold sprint. Aiming mode, absolute toggle. No hold sprint here. No hold aim here. Toggle mouse, aim, and then sprint hold. Crafting. Let me set that to hold, to toggle. Listen mode, hold. That's fine. Camera assist, lock on. We don't want that, so that's all set to off. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the settings. That was pretty lengthy, but you get the idea. It's a fairly customizable game, caters to accessibility. So yeah, that's it for the option setting. I am recording this video using a 4K 60 hertz capture card, which records directly to my iMac. So I am not, what you see in gameplay should be indicative of your performance if you have similar hardware. So any GPUs within the range of a 2080 Ti, a 3070 Ti, RX 6800, you should get similar performance. Maybe a little bit slightly more on the AMD side. So yeah, and the graphics driver, as of this recording, I am using the latest Nvidia graphics driver, which was released March 24th, version 595.97. I would like to point out one thing about this game that is absolutely ingenious. This game was definitely well thought out in its design process. So when you go to The Last of Us and you click on New Game Plus, right? Uh, it doesn't completely overwrite your save progress, right? So I've beaten this game before, as I mentioned, and these are all the chapters, right? So if you accidentally hit New Game Plus or New Game, you can come to the load game and see I accidentally started a game. Um, but you can see last time I played this game was back in 2023. Um, so you can load back your old progress, and which will give you, any chapters to pick from. There are 12 chapters in total, so you can pick from any one once you've beaten the game. Absolutely fantastic. I want to take a moment to appreciate this game's accessibility and customization. I mean, this is probably, besides the launch technical issue, this is probably one of the best customized PC games, at least top five, if not top three, that I've ever seen. If you look in the top portion of the screen, you can see it has several input that you can choose from. So you have keyboard and mouse, the PS5 DualSense controller, the PS4 DualShock 4 controller, the Xbox wireless controller, Steam controller, Steam Deck, Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch, and then you have the Xbox adaptive controller. Wow, I've never seen that before. Yeah, that's incredible. That is what, 8 different inputs you can choose from. Incredible. So this is the latest game's version, the last version, as of this recording, which is version 1.1.5.0. So I will be playing in using DLAA first, and then work my way up. Take a look at the other anti-aliasing method. So let me go with DLAA and see how the game performs. Okay, And I am back in the game using DLAA quality. I mean, can I just take a moment to appreciate the visuals on hand here? This is a remaster of a PlayStation 3 game. This is essentially a PlayStation 3 game on steroids, right? But can you just look at the visuals on hand? I've played so many games over the past, I don't know, 5 years or more that do not even look as good as this, right? People tend to use the term current gen or next gen too loosely just because a game released, over the past few months to a year, they think automatically means the game looks good, right? I mean, this game blows away most Unreal Engine 5 games and most games that I've played, like I said, over the past 5 years, if not more, right? I mean, look at the draw distance, the geometry, the trees, like everything looks just crisp and fantastic, right? Look at the bird reflection in the water. Look at that. It just looks incredible. The draw distance, the shadow distance, the reflection, and you saw the extensive PC menu options. These are things you don't see nowadays in games. Um, so let me take a moment to provide one thing that I noticed: constructive criticism. So DLAA is not very good, even DLSS in this game. If you see the leaves here have severe ghosting, right? There's like it was actually worse when I was playing before when I moved Joe's hands up and down. There was like this ghostly affection, ghostly. What am I saying? This ghostly artifact on screen. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but it seems to have kind of gone away. Um, yeah. So let me walk around and just make some more other observations. Um, the animation is still top notch. I remember the first time I saw the E3 2012 stage presentation demo. I was absolutely blown away. Like the animation. That's one of the things that I miss about the PlayStation 3 era. At least Sony and Naughty Dog and all their first party companies, studios, they tried to push breaking technology on a limited hardware. Mind you, the PS3 was what 256 megabytes of system memory and 256 megabytes of VRAM, as well as one core CPU with different SPEs, or think about it like the Intel core, primary cores, and efficient cores, right? So back then, for its time, it was a pretty powerful console. It was the most powerful console, even though it was very difficult to program for. But the point I'm trying to make is that they pushed like this kind of animation. You can see the muscle deformation, the wrinkles on his shirt, like his animation from when he's running and how he transitions. Like he's able to smoothly transition from running to stopping and all that, from walking to running. Like you don't see this kind of attention to details anymore in so-called modern games. And also the foliage, I can interact with the foliage. I mentioned in my last few videos that games nowadays, the geometry is just static. It's just there. It's just there for the sake of being there. You can't even interact. You know, and this is a PS3 title. I know it was released on the PC in 2023, but this is still at its core a PS3 game. And in my opinion, I think gaming graphics died in 2015, 2016. Like the PS4 was the last good like moment in terms of gaming technology. Like if you look at games like Killzone Shadowfall, The Order 1886, Drive Club, um, Infamous Second Son. I mean, those games like hold a candle to PS5 games. It's like we've regressed so bad, so backwards in gaming technology. It's not even funny. But yeah, like look at the lighting, the textures, just everything just looks so pristine in this game. So let's take a little bit about the performance metrics. You can see I'm using 9.6 gigabytes of VRAM total. Um, First line GPU information, I have 324 wattage being used allocated, which is good. That's what I want to see. 99% GPU usage, almost 10 gigabytes of VRAM usage, which is pretty high. Um, System CPU usage is 40%. System memory is over 16 gigs. So if you have an 8 gigabyte VRAM GPU, you're going to struggle. That brings me to my point. The 2080 Ti has aged much better than even the 3070 Ti, which is its closest competitor as far as like performance, right? The 2080 Ti will perform much better in this game than the 3070 Ti because of the extra 3 gigabyte frame buffer, right? 11 gigabyte as opposed to 8 gigabytes. Um, yeah. So if you have a 16 gigabyte VRAM in this game, you're probably going to struggle. Um, I believe there's a clicker here somewhere, so I need to be careful. I think there's a clicker. Yeah, so let me see if I can draw out a clicker real quick. I'm gonna throw something here. Yeah, I heard something. Okay, it's coming somewhere to my right. Uh, okay, I can definitely hear a click. Okay, there you go. It's down there. Okay, so let me take it easy here, so I don't get mauled. Um, yeah, DLAA is not fully resolving the image geometry. Uh, not what I was expecting, but it does look okay. It does look good. Um, so let me walk around and see what this game is about. I haven't played this game in years, so okay. So I noticed a bit of ghosting. Let me see if I can find like a falling leaf or like a butterfly or something. Okay, so let me see. It's with DLAA. I think there might be an issue with DLAA in this game or DLSS. So let me take a look at this. Okay, okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, first time I took a look at it, it was pretty bad, pretty noticeable. But it seemed, oh shit, scared the crap out of me, man. Crap, I didn't expect to see that. Um, okay, so yeah, I mean the graphics still hold up. Like I said, this is a remaster of a PlayStation 3 game, and the game still looks absolutely fantastic, right? Looks absolutely fantastic. Um, if someone told me this game released it uh, in 2026, I would say, yeah, I believe you. It's definitely it's definitely holds up for sure. So let me loot this house and see what I can get. Um,
I'm trying to learn how to whistle.
is that what that is?
It doesn't sound like I know how to whistle.
Yeah, I remember when I played it on the PS3. I was blown away by its visuals. I have it on the PS4. Beating it a few times on the PS4. Um, I have it on the I had it on the PS3. And yeah, I recently I really cherished this game so much that I even started playing it again, the PS4 version on the PS5, and yeah, it still holds up. Um, it's The Last of Us. What can I say, right? Okay, so let me loot this. Oh wow, it crashed on me.
Bingo.
Oh, I thought it crashed on me. Okay, I guess not. That was a massive hitch. What was that about? I've never seen that before. Brought my FPS down to zero. Wow, that is the first time I've ever seen this. Incredible. Whoa, what was that about? Okay, so let me boost Ellie. I think she needs to get up there.
Here, boost me up.
Huh, what was that about? Huh.
Well, I can't boost you up. How
Okay,
else are we gonna open it?
so now would be a good time. So you can see, let's just 47 FPS. Now would be a good time to take a look at DLSS quality and possibly FSR. So I have DLSS quality enabled. Um, I believe it's DLSS 3. So let's see what my FPS is like. Okay, so I'm getting roughly 24 FPS more, which is quite a substantial boost. VRAM usage has dropped a little. The game does look a little softer. Joe's beard does look a little shimmery. So DLSS quality is not fully resolving like fine details like hair and the beard. Yeah, look at that. I can tell,
Let's see.
and there's quite a bit of there's a little bit of ghosting introduced. I don't know if it's a bug
Ta-da!
with the game or something.
Thank you.
But yeah, so let me walk around some more and just make some observations. You know, the game
So
looks
let's
pretty good.
learn from this buddy of yours. Then what? Marlene said he's your brother?
Okay, so yeah, so Billstown. I'm in Billstown. In case you're wondering where this area is, I
Okay.
just loaded from. I've beaten this game before, like I mentioned. I just loaded from one of the previous chapters, which is I think this is chapter 4 or possibly chapter 5, Billstown. So I just loaded from there, and I'm in the first opening mission, right? So there's a little bit of slow exposition and all that stuff between
Whoa.
and banter between Joel and Ellie.
Man,
Um,
man.
I do wish she was Ellie was like
Super cute.
Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite, where if you miss an item, she would say, "Hey Booker, catch!" Or in this case, Ellie would say, "Hey Joel, catch!" Right? I kind of wish she that feature she was sort of like Elizabeth in that in that manner. But she does hold her own in combat though. Um, so yeah, I'm in Build Town just exploring. Very beautiful scenic environment. Um, okay, so DLSS quality introduced a little bit of ghosting. So if you look at the character's head, when I pan the camera left and right, you can see Joe's head
No.
um, has this halo effect around him. So let me aim
Apparently, there's this
with my
tower
pistol
called
and go up and
the
down.
Wall.
You can see like Joe's hands.
She punched a hole
Um,
through your stomach before keeping it
there's
down.
this halo ghosting effect around him. I think it might be a bug with the options menu or a bug with just DLSS in general.
Wish I could play it.
Because yeah, DLA is not DLA was exhibiting that before, but not anymore. And look at Ellie, like at the back of her head, there's this halo ghosting effect. So perhaps I need to disable and re-enable it to fix the issue. But yeah, it is a bit distracting, and I don't know how that was missed during QA testing. Um, so let's take a look. Let me pick up all these items, and I usually don't play with FSR, honestly, especially FSR 3 and below. But now would be a good time to just take a look at how it compares to DLSS quality. So keep in mind, right now I'm sitting at 88 FPS with DLSS quality. Let's take a look at FSR quality. So here I am with FSR 3.1 quality. Um, okay, so you lose about roughly 3 to 4 FPS compared to DLSS quality. The image does. Let me take a look at the ghosting. Okay, so that looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. So it might be either a bug with DLSS or it could be a bug with the menu when switching between upscalers. So you can see when I pan the camera, there's no halo effect around Joel, and in his arm when I aim my pistol, there's no halo ghosting effect. And then Ellie, when she moves around, you can see there's no ghosting halo effect around her either. So okay, so let me play a little bit with FSR quality, and then I'm gonna turn off upscaler off completely. Um, yeah, I mean, look at the ground textures, the foliage rich environment. Yeah, this game still looks fantastic. Absolutely looks fantastic. Um,
Mandatory
I think this is
evacuation.
51721.
To where?
Let me see, five. 1721, right? All right. Check out the big brain on me. Okay, so let me keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, FSR quality is trying, but there's still some shimmer around the edges. You can see around this van. Um, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know. I'd rather play with native resolution any day, any time than using a fake pixel upscaling algorithm. Like you can see from this distance here, this car antenna is not resolving well. And when I move, like it's fine when I stand still. The only issue is the FSR falls apart completely when there's motion on screen. When you stop moving, like you can see when I start moving left, right, like from this distance, you can see how the pixel completely breaks up, right? So I'm sure DLSS won't fare that much better either. But that's why, no matter what Nvidia or AMD or Intel try to tell you about, you can't notice a difference. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. A fake pixel would never compete with native resolution. Never. I showed you. DLSS qualities in this game is equivalent to 17. It's the real resolution is 1712 by 960. I mean, that's way much lower than 2560 by 1440. Even though it's upscaling to my native reg, it still doesn't compare to native reg. It's still fake pixels. So I'll always take native reg to upscale any day. So now would be a good time. Let me just take a look at the default anti-aliasing and see how it fares compared to DLSS and FSR. Okay, so I have the default native anti-aliasing enabled for both anti-aliasing and upscaler. So no fake pixels, no DLSS, no FSR. Definitely looks cleaner as you can see, but I've lost roughly 20 FPS as a result, which is fine. I mean, just think about it, folks. Like the 2080 Ti is just an absolute beast, and the 9900K, right? This this configuration came out 4 years before this game, roughly 4 to 5 years before this game was released on PC. And look, native resolution, everything cranked up to the maximum. I'm still getting 60 FPS without using any DLSS or FSR. Uh, as a result, though, my VRAM usage has climbed tremendously. So the frame buffer usage has climbed up by roughly 400 to 500 megabytes. Um, but I'll take that. I have an 11 gigabyte VRAM GPU, so you know this game still runs flawlessly. Um, so let me see if I can get some action. There you go. There's a clicker. Boom, blown up. So I got to be careful for Bill's traps.
What the hell was that?
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, this game is still a looker. Like it's still a fantastic looking game. The only thing I would say though, since this is like it's just a hair. Like I mean, yeah, it looks pretty good. It does move, but nothing compares to TressFX or Hairworks, Nvidia PhysX Hairworks. Like man, those technologies, man, I miss those days. Yeah, the audio is also fantastic in this game. This is a game I encourage uh, you if you're playing on the PC or even on the PlayStation. You should play with a headset on. So if you have the PS5 Pulse um, Pulse 3D audio headset, that would be a good one. It even works with PlayStation 4 games. I recently completed the Order 1886 on the PS5, and the audio was still fantastic. Yeah, and on my PC using my True 5.1 surround sound headset, like the audio sounds fantastic, even better than the PS5. Okay, so I do have the FOV turned up to the maximum. So okay, it looks a lot better. I can see Joe's back pockets. FPS is still the same, so it didn't affect the FPS at all. So let me see aiming. Let me use my pistol. Wow, I should have played with this. This actually looks good. Oh yeah, okay. Wow, this is actually one of the better PC games that I've seen. FOV slider, check. Uncapped FPS, check. Um, Toggle aim, check. Yeah. So as I was saying, uncapped FPS, check. Toggle aim, check. FOV slider, check. Like that's what I like to see in PC games. Yeah, even in a even in a third person game, like this doesn't have to be first person. Like a third person game still has all those features. That's what I like to see. Okay, I get a feeling I might get ambushed here because I heard some noise. Yep, there you go. Wow, incredible.
Get out of me.
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah. So if you watch my previous videos, I talked about this reflection, right? Most so-called modern games don't even try to include planar reflection, right? You can see this is simulating, this is reflecting in real time, folks. The background geometry, things on the outside, the windows, the cloth, and the main character Joel himself. Even when I turn on the flashlight, you can see the flashlight blinds my view, you know, based on his intensity, right? You can see when I aim, move up, down, left, right. This is all real time. You do not need ray tracing for this. This technology, like I said in a few of my videos, has existed since the 90s, right? Notably, if you play Doom 3 or Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, you would see that you would see planar reflections. Like when you see mirrors, it reflects the entire background and the character. In games nowadays, the Dead Space remake, um, and so many games, like this would either be a cracked mirror or it wouldn't even exist at all, or they will force you, like Resident Evil Requiem, they will force ray tracing for this feature that has been like this looks better than ray trace games that I've seen, right? That try to have a ray trace reflection, especially Unreal Engine Lumen reflection. This looks way better than Lumen and so-called ray tracing, right? Even when I shoot out the mirror, you can see I can still see Joel, right?
Think you should
You see
probably
the
go.
smoke from the gun. Like I can shoot out pieces of the mirror. Like this is lost technology. I can still see his arms here, his trouser, his pants. Like these are lost technologies you never see anymore in games. It's so sad. We regress so backwards. Like it's gaming nowadays is just a bloated, blurry garbage mess. Simple technologies like planar reflections don't even exist in most games, and it's like because the thing is, a lot of gamers nowadays uh, are teenagers or people nowadays have amnesia. They don't remember these things. These things have been around for a long time, but now we're forced to use so-called ray tracing for things that have been around forever. Yeah, I mean this game was really cutting edge technology in 2012, and it still holds up flawlessly in 2026, right? It still holds up great. Um, the lighting is great, fantastic. The draw distance, the shadow, everything just looks fantastic, right? And look at the FPS, and this is native default FPS, default resolution, and yeah, the game still, I'm still getting good FPS, decent FPS, um, and this is using a 2080 Ti, holds up quite well. All right, and this is it, folks. If you like what you see in this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Take care.